for it.
So this
They get you back, by the way.
this she is sponsored the Nishmas Menachem Mendel ben Yosef, one of the prime Talmidim of the Noam Elimelech. Chos Yikan Ranei Kol Yisrael. Amen. L'chaim Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'shach v'niyim dvoi. Okay, somebody's trying to log on. I'll post the website. You can. 1 second. Copy link.
Can I ask questions?
Yeah, go ahead. Adrabah, I invite it very much so. In Bechukoisai Telecho. The first words of this week's parsha, Bechukoisai Telecho, says the Noam Elimelech. Nearly, it seems to me, let's explain these words on the basis of the words Vayamidem lo ad la'olam chok nosan v'lo ya'avai. In Tehillim, which we say every single day, we say Hallelujah min hashamayim. We talk about all the different celestial bodies and things that exist in the universe, that they have an we're calling on them to praise Hashem for how great He is. And in the 6th pasuk of that particular parak in Tehillim, it says, "Vayamidem la'ad la'olam." Hashem had set them up, referring to the celestial bodies. The Sforno says that Hallelujah min hashamayim refers to talking to everything in existence, which is min hashamayim, i.e. from heaven and below. So everything in this world, and then it goes to refer to the things above. Above heaven, yeah. The stars, the planets, everything else. And He set them there forever. He gave them a chok nasan, and they won't transgress it, and they'll stick to it. That is the Pashat Pshat explanation of those words. The Hine. Our main work in this world, and it's not a steer to the Messiah Shem, because those things are one and the same. Now what does that mean? These are very lofty words, very special words. A lot of people's eyes glaze over, and in fact, for a lot of people, it's almost tantamount to what the Gemara Chagiga talks about when 4 went up to Shemayim, and it said they were told when you reach what they called clear marble, i.e. not glass, but like a very strong substance which seems to be clear, don't push, meaning this is where you've reached the end of your understanding. So for a lot of people, this is where they reach the end of understanding, and then the rest is like, it seems hocus pocus.
There's a Rapsadik on similar words.
Yeah.
Not identical. I'm no Bucky. I just dabble.
I'm no Bucky. I'm less of a no Bucky.
So, on the
Yes. Yeah.
So it says a lesson there also to be miyachid, I think.
Yes. Well, the Shem Yichud. It's the Shem Yichud, to be miyachid together. There are 2 aspects of Giloi Shechina, of Giloi Hashem in this world. There's a Kodesh Baruch Giloi and there's a Shechinte Giloi.
And you have to be miyachid them.
Miyachid them.
And he has in the Reichas, in the beginning of one of the Sarim, I forget, Daiva Meshar maybe,
okay,
to explain the Hasbar on that.
Okay, that's interesting, because we a few weeks ago, when we were talking about this, we mentioned the concept of the L'Shem Yichud on a very, very most simplistic level as possible, uniting your mind and your actions, because the human condition is that we aspire to be one thing, but we are another.
Yeah.
And so you don't have the Yichud. So when we're doing the mitzvah, that's why some say not to say it at all, because if you don't have in mind, you're literally lying right there and then, because your mind isn't with it. I don't think I know that in Babov, it says in the beginning, for example, by the Sfira Saima, it says Yechavein, that you should have in mind, but you shouldn't say it. Because if you're having it in mind, then good. But if you're not having it in mind, then you won't have it in mind, and you're not being Meshakeh. So yes, on a basic level, it's just uniting the 2 together, and the result of that, how, what, where, and why, I have no idea, but the result of doing that brings a yichud between Kudsha Bricha Shchinte, which in a certain sense, one represents the more abstract, and one represents the more practical in this world. Just like our thoughts are abstract, they're not practical, they're not here, they're not physical.
I have to look it up.
And by all means.
It says Amunah comes from it, I think, but I might be off.
And when it comes from it,
I'm not sure I got that right.
well, 100% and when it comes from it, because very often when we do something and we're not fully behind it, or we can't fully relate, or we find that for whatever reason, we find that for whatever reason, Shalom Aleichem, come sit down, make a l'chaim, help yourself.
Especially for Manchester.
Especially for Manchester, all the way from Manchester. Or we have somebody that beat you, but he's only here on Zoom.
Where's he
From
from?
the Czech Republic.
Is he out there?
He's here. Wave hello.
Wow.
Help yourself, don't drop it.
Danny and Chuck,
Yeah, take a bit. We've got a page behind
say
you.
hello for me.
Our guy, Daniel says hello. Danny.
Who's the yacht type for? I think you know who he is.
Rabbi Nachman Mendel Rimanov, Rabbi Nachman Mendel ben Rabbi Yosef, one of the prime Talmidim of the Noam Elimelech.
Oh, really?
Yes, the Noam Elimelech said that out of the
I like
fourth.
to hear things like that.
The Chayzer of Lublin was a Talmud. The Chayzer is called the Chayzer because of a certain gift that he had. But the Rabbi Melech said that I'm going to give the Chayzer the koyach of my eyes, and he gave the Abder of the koyach of his heart, I believe. No, he gave the koyach.
He did so.
The koyach. Sorry.
Oh, he's so. No, he's not.
Yeah, I know. No. Sorry, no. That's the funny thing. He didn't give him the koyach of the heart. I thought when I was going through it,
Drink.
I thought that he must be the one that got the heart. He didn't. I wrote it down. I mean, he gave him the koyach of the peh. Give him the power of speech, of the attractive of speech, and he gave the Koshnitzer, the Avodas Yisrael. He gave the heart of the tradition. Yeah. Anyway, coming back to this. So the Noam Elimelech talks about the pasuk in Tehillim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu established the celestial spheres because it's talking about those which are created above the Shamayim as we know it, which they are constant. As far from our perspective, they're never changing. The moon has been the same moon for the past few thousand years. Sun, the same sun. All the planets, all the stars, they've just remained the same as far as we know. So he says that the main avoid in this world is liyachid l'kasha. So that's the point. That's the point that we want. Liyachid l'kasha. What does it mean practically? Liyachid l'kasha. Because a lot of people liyachid l'kasha hechra zachen. It is hechra zachen. No one's going to doubt that. But what does it mean for us? For you and me. I don't know. For me at least. Ich ben apashat yid. Halavai that. And for me, I need to understand what this means. Liyachid.
So mitzvah. Mitzvah means to connect.
Mitzvah means a connection.
Sav is
correct.
Command. It means connect.
Correct.
So
but
you connect to Hashem through mitzvahs.
And
Torah, which is type of mitzvah.
Spoiler alert!
The way I understand is not that I ever gave it any thought besides just now, but you could look at many pratim in the Bria. You could look at many pratim in Bria, and that's a mistake. The Bria is a cohesive whole, and altogether it performs a service for HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Oh.
So you look at the Bria, the entire Bria is going towards a certain goal that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to achieve.
And it's beautiful that you say that because the concept of Elikim is Re'umi bara Eila. Elikim is the multiplicity of koyches in this world, which seem to be different, but they're not different. They're just different expressions of the divine source. And really, it's only to our perception that it's different, because we like as people, we like when things fit nicely in boxes. We like definitions, we like understanding things black and white. But as we get older, and at least that's for myself, we realize it's not so black and white. Not everything is so black and white. There's a lot of in between.
I heard from Rosh Yeshiva, as his beard was turning gray, because when you get older, you realize that there's many, many shades of gray. And kind of color.
Yeah, very good. It's very true. But no, the reason why I say that is because it says Hallelu, and it talks about Hashem. It talks about Yud Kevovke in this visitor, which is because they all realize. We're going to get into this in a minute, but they all realize, just like Lahavdel Elef Alafei Avdolos, they remain the same. They've remained the same. The one that created them, he's always the same. He's always will be. They have differences. I'm sure the sun has undergone certain changes, the moon has certain changes, but Klapa us, it seems very much the same as it's been. The same person which stood here 3,000 years ago looking at the moon or looking at this. We didn't have sunglasses, or looking at the reflection of the sun, whatever, wouldn't have seen a difference. But anyway, let's go deeper into Liyachad al-Kasha. The concept of Liyachad al-Kasha is as follows. For me, this is how I understand it, and I invite anybody.
But I'm not sure if it's before we were talking about Shemus of Hashem.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but here he says Kasha Olamas, which I'm not sure if he means the same thing, that each Olam is a letter of Hashem, or it means no, the creation that Hashem made is a one unified unit.
It's not necessarily mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
We'll go into that in a second. So Liyachad al-Kasha, what does it mean Liyachad al-Kasha? We were talking just a second ago about the concept of the L'Shem Yichud, and I think you were there in that share as well.
But we shouldn't be saying it because we don't mean it.
Well, some don't say it. Some, exactly.
Rabbi say that we shouldn't say it.
Well, yeah, he said it, but yeah.
I say it. I do say it.
Well,
am I allowed to say it?
You can say. Look, there's a meaning this way that way. You can say it,
I do say it.
but make sure that you mean it. Because if you don't, then you're just saying sheka. Because the concept of the L'Shem Yichud, the concept of it is to unify my thoughts and my actions. So if your thoughts aren't here, so the concept. Okay, again. So going back to this, Liyachad al-Kasha. Let's try and get through this. Liyachad al-Kasha means to unify, to realize that it's all one, or Lakasha by connecting it. It seems to me that one is a higher level and one is a lower level, which means the following. I can know in my heart, to a certain degree, in my reality, that everything is really all one. And there's a danger in this, because there are people in this world, I had something talking about it a few weeks ago, that they say, it's all one anyway, and they're miyayish, because it's like, everything in this world is just an illusion.
Therefore what?
So therefore, I say it doesn't make a difference anyway. In a real level, it doesn't make a difference anyway. But what they have failed to realize is, as much as there's truth in what they say, because there's no sheker that exists in this world without a kernel of truth, they have so missed the boat that it's almost sheker to say that it's emes. Meaning, yes, there is a concept of Hashem is never changing, but this world is here so that we do Hashem's Ratzon. What's Hashem's Ratzon? To come to realize Him. How do we come to realize Him? On the deepest level possible. To connect with Him, like you mentioned, mitzvahs, through the things that He asked us to do, whether we understand it or not. So on one level, somebody doing these mitzvahs who's really in tune, and he's in it, and he knows all the halachas from beginning to end, and he knows all the mepharshim. We're talking, Tana Amora level, they're doing the mitzvahs, they're miyachid already, because for them, it's the action creates a yichud. For others, like for me, the Pashto Yid, when I have in mind, I'm makasha, because I'm putting them together. But when you're makasha something, it's taking one and making it two, but connecting.
That's right. You still have different things.
Yeah. Well, you still have different entities, exactly. You still have different entities, but you put them together. You realize that they belong together. Now, sometimes you can realize that things belong together because they're one. Like husband and wife, for example, are really one unit. Halavai. But that in an ideal world, that's how it is. But sometimes you just have a concept of a kesher.
Yeah, she wants to add on to this. It's a bit of a dangerous this going down this line of kesher, because sometimes you mitzvahs, you get people who say, you know what, I have an affiliation to this mitzvah, I'll do that mitzvah. It's not my cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea.
I will do mitzvahs I feel, Kol Shabbos, a Cholim Shabbos morning.
Why?
But they say this other mitzvah, it's not my cup of tea.
Okay. I want you to answer. Yeah, go on, yeah.
So therefore, when you go down that line, it's almost like you'll choose those mitzvahs that you feel connected more to.
You can choose which one to be maheder in.
I know you can do that.
Not which one you keep. You're obligated in all. But you can choose.
If you don't feel this one's good for you, you don't enjoy doing it.
But you said you gave yourself the answer before. You already said the answer. A mitzvah.
I don't remember saying
a mitzvah is to create a connection.
Yeah.
What kind of relationship do you have with somebody if you say, I will connect with you how I want to connect? I've got people that I know that way. They're not my friends. They think they're my friends. They're not my friends. They're connecting with me. They want to connect with you. Great.
Facebook.
Well, for example. But I'm talking about on a more realistic level. If you've got a friend and you know this friend, he likes when, I don't know, to either discuss something or to do a certain activity, whatever. But you don't want to do those things. Mm-hmm. I enjoy this, okay, but it's not about, if you want to be makasher to him, then you'll do what he's asking you to do. That's the whole concept of a mitzvah, is whether or not I understand it, whether or not I like it, and you're right, of course, It's a human condition to do what we're comfortable with. We've got a nefesh Bahamis which likes to do what we're comfortable with. And even though we might seem civilized because we're doing the mitzvahs and everything, at the end of the day, it still comes back to the fact that this is my mitzvah, the children's in Kegel, this is my thing. And there is great value in that. Especially the Hasidic rabbis will say there's great value in even just eating a bowl of cholent in Kegel because it's Shabbos and you say L'kovot Shabbos Kodesh, even if you only mean it 1%, even the 1%'s got something. It's not nothing, but it's not where we're striving for. That's not where we want to be. It's not where we want to be. And again, I was speaking to somebody about this yesterday. Somebody who was actually, I don't know from he is or isn't, because I was learning somewhere and there was an event on another floor, and I said to him, I said, don't get lost in the details. Meaning, you have to do the mitzvahs kal chasam, and Chazal told us how to perform the mitzvahs, because if you want to do something, do it properly. That's just But if your be all and end all is I've done it, I've ticked the box, you've missed the point. You've almost wasted your time. Of course, you can't say that you've wasted your time entirely because it's got an effect. It's got an effect on you and it's got an effect on the world. But the true purpose hasn't been achieved. It's like you said, the concept of a mitzvah is lekasher, primarily, then liyachid. That is our goal.
If you don't feel it,
if you don't feel it, that is a you problem.
then you won't do it.
No, you're talking practical,
And it's
or you're
also-
talking whether it's okay.
No, but look, it's like a person says, the person does an Avera. First time is terrible, second time is terrible,
And now
third
it's
time,
lekatza,
and then afterwards, I'm not doing an Avera.
Right, because now it's lekatza.
So you can't really you can't rely.
How
on
does that connect to
feeling.
this?
Because if you start feeling a kesher, not feeling a kesher, and you decide, okay, this one I feel a kesher, but this one I don't feel a kesher. Therefore, if I don't do it, it's not so bad.
My point was the pshara. Was making a pshara. To do a mitzvah, all the mitzvahs you have to do, but there's some you're going to do extra special. You're going to be mahader, do it a special way, put more kavana in. That you can choose to some degree. You're not going to be mahader in all of them unless you're super duper tzaddik. But you pick the one that's dear to you, and that one you mahader in. The others you have to do. You can't ignore them, but you don't do it the same way.
We're not ignoring the fact
No,
that
I'm
people
not saying
feel
not to. I'm
comfortable.
saying
It's a shtickle
it's a
asha.
hard thing to do.
So, in fact, there, a famous kasha, why each person has a chelik la'olam haba. Each person has a chelik be'olam haba.
Right.
Right?
In it, not to it.
That's right. So
Didn't he also Rabbi Grossman's talk about that?
Possibly. Maybe you listen more than I do.
So maybe he did.
Have him mazonos, make him mazonos.
So says the Asher, because there's many types of Yidden. Some excel in Torah, some excel in Gmilas Chasadim, and some in davening. Some people did daven. Rabbi Hill, when he davened, you knew he was davening to Hashem. You had no question, right? There was no question. That was the mind that he had.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Amazing.
What? Right? Some people, their thing is tefillah. Some people, they don't see them that much by davening, but they make the kiddush, right? And they're constantly doing chesed for different people. They excel in Gmilas Chasadim. Other people sit and learn and prepare a shir, Noam, Elimelech. And within learning, you find various people. Some do Shmaisa, some do Noam, Elimelech, some Bekiyas, some In. Each one has a chelik la'olam haba. Each one has their own path to get to olam haba.
Interesting.
But you're not part of any mitzvahs, but you can choose the one that you're going to excel in.
It's true.
No, all I was saying is it's a dangerous point because people can sometimes.
It's not, but
choosing.
we're not saying. But the Noam Melech is not.
He's not saying.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
I'm not saying it for 1 second.
So but the good thing, it's good to be aware of that because a person that feels that way has to ask himself why. Why don't I connect to this?
Yeah.
And then, Mistama, they'll find that somewhere in the past they may have had an experience which was less than ideal doing this particular mitzvah, or somebody they particularly didn't like is mahada the mitzvah, or if they're truly honest with themselves, deep down, they'll find why, and then after they can change it. And maybe this is the avodah in this world. Maybe the avodah is particularly on this mitzvah that you feel so distant from you to actually connect to it. Maybe, who knows? We don't know. But we can do our best. That's what we're here to do. So moving on. So when we're talking, so when we're talking about the 13, so when we're talking about the 13 midas, when the Moshe Rabbeinu asked the Bain Shalom to reveal these 13 midas to him, so we said Vayav Hashem Aponov, Vayikra Hashem Kerach U'Mechanan. So So Moshe Rabbeinu is down in Klal Yisrael for Hashem to be mechaper. Vayavar Hashem apanav shel za'am. What does it mean? Vayavar Hashem apanav. The concept of panav is panav el za'am, meaning the pashat pshat in the pasuk is apanav shel Moshe, that he passed Moshe's face. But the sod, it seems, is the understanding of panav shel za'am, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu passed over his own panav shel za'am, that he was Kaviyachol had acharon af towards Klal Yisrael for the Chet HaEgel, and then the midah of Rachamim took over Ikar Hashem Shahu Rachamim. The Kaviyachol Hashem in his infinite wisdom at that time drew upon and allowed the Shefa of Rachamim to come into this world where previously it was Din. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, yeah. But when we in our simple way we unite. So on a higher level, on Makasha, we connect all the worlds, because the way that the world, when he's talking about worlds, what he's talking about is the Shelshel. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his nothingness state created this world. It needed to be in stages, because to go from where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is to an existence where Bossav Adam can exist is too much. So there had to be, as they say, a development and a what's the right word for it? I'm looking for the right word.
No?
A mahalach, yeah, but almost like a evolution is the wrong word, because evolution. Let me finish. Because evolution means that it's not guided, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to consciously create a development of realities from where he was, a process, Basar B'Amaris, to create the world that we have today. Yeah. So therefore, when you're talking about Olamos, what we are talking about, all these other worlds still exist, because they have to exist for there to be chiyus in this world. For in order for life to continue as we know it, these worlds have to exist. And therefore, when we do a mitzvah, or chas v'shalom, the opposite, it bounces up all these worlds, the entire existence, because everything coexists at the same time. From our perception, we only see this world. There are those that could see others.
But is there actually things going on in other worlds?
I've never been there, but I've been told yes.
This is what I find hard.
It's hard because
I say animam. I talked about it last week. I say animam every day, every week. Yeah, because I want to actually chaz myself over avera, do mitzvahs. I find it very, very hard that things we do in this world have. I'll give you an example. A person is walking down the street. Yeah. You see a woman which is pretty, and you move your eye 1 second to the left, like 20 degrees.
First time you look, or second time?
No, first time. Away.
Okay.
Away.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, away, yeah.
I find it very difficult to believe you actually get reward for that.
Why?
Do you get rewarded for looking that way? You get Mekayim the mitzvah.
Why?
I know, but I don't actually. I find it very hard.
Explain to me. Explain to me.
No.
Explain.
No. It's Bartan Shem Mishmor.
Nothing.
I'm not Hasidic, but Shem Mishmor. He says you can gain more from Surmei Rad than from Masei Tov.
I know, but nothing actually happens.
One second.
I find it very
The opposite.
Okay. Opposite as well.
You know what?
Opposite, you get punishment, but we get reward. It's very hard to believe it.
Because
and also, if a person doesn't have it 5 times and looks away 1 time, or any other mitzvah, you're still going to go to Gehenna 5 times. Who cares? You get a reward 1 time.
First of all, I don't know.
Why? Who cares? I'd like the reward. And it's much more chashiv because the reward is the only ad.
It's very. I find it very hard to believe you get a reward when you don't do an avera. When you don't actually feel it. You feel pain. You feel pain. You don't feel reward. You feel pain.
Still, you get more schar. You did it despite the pain.
It's hard to believe it.
I
find it. I know. It's MS according to my brain. But I find it hard to.
You don't feel it.
Each victory you should be magdal, and that will
far
bring
from
you to more
feeling
victories. Each victory you should be magdal, that brings you to more victory.
I'm far from believing it.
You're far from feeling it. You believe it here, but it's not here.
Absolutely, very far. That's what I'm saying. Here, I know. I say miles every week. Here, million miles.
Maybe you need better kavan and aleinu. Say it every day, 3 times. That's the whole point. That is the whole avodah in this world. The whole avodah is to connect the mind and the heart. That's what Paroi, which is our Erev, is to separate that. He was not into that. So it's like this: here stay here, and here stay here, and let the two not never connect.
I was glancing here. I'm not chopping at all. He seems to say Moshe Rabbeinu. There was by him he did it. There was a Panam Shazam, but when we do it, it could be Miachid and Makasha.
Oh no,
there'll be no Zam at all.
Okay, so 1 second. So 1
We're better
second.
than Moshe Rabbeinu. I don't chop.
No, let's 1 second. Somebody's waiting in the waiting room.
Ooh, that was very popular.
How long has he been waiting?
We can't have
yeah.
refreshments.
Yeah, I said the refreshments are only for the people in person. I think he understands. But
Henry?
if he wants to come afterwards, I'll keep some aside. He just has to let me know so I don't finish it before. Okay, so going back to it, back inside. So he said Aval Anachnu, but when we are Mikasha Miyachid through our mitzvahs or whatever we're doing the return Abayah, Shemai Osman Meila Horachman Govim Ve'en Shlita Klal. Because by Moshe Rabbeinu it's the first time that something like this happened. That was the initiation of this starting to work. The concept of our actions having this koyach.
He says this, he speaks this out, or this is your take?
So this is my take, because otherwise I have your question as well. It has to be that way. Let's finish this. Let's finish this part. This concept of Charan Af or Panim Shazam, which sounds even worse than Charan Af, doesn't have any koyach in the world. And we don't even need the Hashem koyach, meaning we don't need to come to Yud Gil Midos if we do Return Abayah. Why? Because by doing Return Abayah and we Makasha all the worlds, everything is as it's Kaviyachol should be. Yes, there are people that are being chayta, there are people doing Averas all the time. Can you imagine? But because we're Osim Return Shel Makom, he probably is referring to the tzaddik. There is this rachamim which is constantly present. It's like having windshield wipers when it's raining. It's always the windshield wipers are always on. That's saying that rain is a bad thing, but if you need to look where you're going, then rain is a bad thing. Now going back to the pasuk that he was discussing earlier, that he set them forever. So the Pashup Pshat is that the Tehillim there is talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu's creation of the celestial spheres, the planets, the stars, the moon, and all those things. But the deeper meaning of these things are the other worlds, meaning the worlds above Shemayim, above our reality, that he set them that way. Why? Move on my pasuk. So he said it's understood, although for him it was understood because he's the Noam Elimelech, but for me it wasn't particularly so understood. But he says, "But Amar Hallelu min hashamayim, praise min hashamayim, Hallelu kavir, chok nasam le'avo, the halamas nikroim chok min hashamayim, i.e. above." So I think he's probably referring to the parish of the Sforno, which the Sforno talks about. Min hashamayim means those that are below, i.e. therefore everything min hashamayim and above is above our existence. And therefore the other oilamos, that's what's referring to. And then he brings a pasuk, which I looked at all the local perushim and I couldn't really find how it's connected. But he said, pasuk chukas oilam. That's referring to Korban Pesach, to the Korban Pesach, but there is some chukas oilam. I'm not particularly so clear. I understand maybe what he's saying is chukas oilam, that the word chok and oilam are connected, and therefore when it says chok, it means a higher world. Okay. Omar Kosev, Hashem Baruch Hu, Nosan Chosh, Nosan Chok v'yesh Kayach, v'yad Tzaddik lekashram. So he basically set this world like this world like this, which seemingly are all separate in their existence. Although one gives life to the next, it seems that they are not connected together. They only de facto and in practicality connect just because they need to be in order to keep the world in existence. Yeah. But actually connected from an awareness perspective, they're not connected. But the tzaddik, when the tzaddik does something, he is connecting them all in his awareness. And because in his awareness he is connecting them, he's doing the mitzvahs. Why? Because he loves Hashem. When he loves Hashem, what he is doing is he's creating a connection through ahava, which is ma'ira rachamim, and thereby bringing a shefa back from le'ila l'sata of rachamim in this world. So basically what the tzaddik is doing when he's doing the mitzvahs, he's doing the practical mitzvahs in this world. He's having in his mind, aside from all the kavanas that he needs to, his own personal avodah, his own personal tshuka to Hashem, to do the mitzvah, to have that connection, like you said earlier, of the mitzvah to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And by doing that, and sending the ahava through all these worlds, and connecting as high as possible as he can, Hashem is going to take it wherever He can't, but because His intention is to connect us as high as possible, and Machshava Tova, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzaref L'Masa. This is what it means v'lo yavo. What does it mean v'lo yavo? Chok nasam v'lo yavo. Peir she'ein sichen havos ponem. What we spoke about earlier when it says v'yavo Hashem al ponov, you don't need the concept of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be Maver al-Medoisov, because there's constantly Racham anyway. Peir she'ein tzorich l'havos ponem, lefi she'ein shlita klal l'dinim, because the dinim have no control. Thank you so much for coming. Kanal v'kemen she'rachmim goivin, and because the Rachmim are so strong, as memelo hashefa ha'leches b'chol toiv, because the Rachamim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so strong in this world, and therefore the goodness is flowing and flowing like HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides to be mative to all the people, to all those existing in the world. Lashpia al-olam hazeh al-yedei iskashros ha-tzadik, through the tzaddik connecting through his personal avodah and going transcending above all different realities. And therefore also the gashmias, the positivity of all the gashmis in this world, giving what they need to give, also comes out. We've just got a few minutes left.
No, do you want to summarize that?
Okay, so I'm going to summarize like this. When Moshe Rabbeinu was davening to the Baruch Shalom, for whatever reason, whichever state things were in at the time, it seemed to be that in order for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give Rachamim, there had to be an Havaras Panim. And the Havaras Panim means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had a Panav Shel Zam on his level, whatever that means. It means that there was din, it was not good. Let's just summarize it. It was not good. And by saying that
Is it the same Zam that Bilam wanted to capitalize on?
Yes, very possibly, because we know that it was because of the Chet HaEgel, and the Chet HaEgel we know that there was also Znus there. So it's very possible. It's very possible it's the same Zam. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you. So, after that point, after HaKadosh Baruch Hu taught the Yid Medes Rachamim, it seemed that somehow the actions of the Yidden were influenced that when a tzaddik, and a tzaddik can mean a tzaddik as in somebody who's very lofty and very high, a tzaddik can also mean a tzaddik, a Yid that's really, genuinely, sincerely trying to do the right thing.
Not good at Tanya.
We're not learning Tanya now. We're just doing Elimelech. So I have Tanya is beyond me. This is also beyond me, but I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. So just to summarize, you asked to summarize. So therefore, when the tzaddik is constantly makasha and he's doing mitzvahs and tovim, and his thoughts and his awareness is as high as it can go, above, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is constantly sending, like the flows of Rachamim and Shefa are constantly open. And that means that when there's a Panav Shel Zam has no place in this reality. How can Hashem be upset? It's almost like when my little boy, he makes a massive mess and he looks at me with these eyes and he gives me a smile. How can I be angry? Because there's this ava there, and there's this love that he's showing towards me. So Zam has no place, and therefore the tzaddik who's doing all this work on a practical level in the Elamas, how can there be Zam? And that's what it means. That's what it means. Bechukoisai, that if you do my rotzon, and therefore you cut through all the chukim, all the Elamas, then v'nasati yishmechem be'itzam. I'm just going to summarize what he says later on. That the gashmias in this world, geshmechem means geshem, but also can mean gashmias. The gashmias in this world will open through and will shine through, and it won't be held back because of Panim Shel Zam. And so one of the essential things that the Noam Elimelech and a lot of others discussed, but I think Noam Elimelech was one of the first to introduce it, is the concept of the tzaddik. The importance to be mekasher ourselves to a tzaddik. That can be in a practical level, a rav that we have, somebody that we feel particularly close to, somebody we feel that we can learn from, somebody who's a very high level, or it can be on a level saying, I know there's a tzaddik in this door, and I don't know who this tzaddik is, but whoever he is, I'm connecting myself to him, because sometimes it can be that we don't know who this tzaddik is. But we've got another 5 minutes, so maybe we'll see it inside. So you basically, what it means telechu, you're going to be walking, you're going to be what's the word? Not trans is not the word I'm looking for, it's part of the word I'm looking for. You're going to be traversing, that's the word. You're going to be traversing all these worlds.
Which?
Yeah, the second paragraph.
So
yeah.
is it
yeah.
part?
Yeah, it's part. That's what it says. V'zehu. V'zehu im Bechukoisai telech. V'yeshatiu hoichem v'lom asel yayin. We're going to pass through these. Hanikra chayik. They're called chayik. V'taharu u'machshar sichem. And your thought, your awareness is going to be lekashram to connect all these places. That these are not separate instances. These are not separate realities. These are all connected because they're part of a path to go forwards, to follow those. This is what you're going to create. I'm going to give you the range. Because what's happening is, think of it this way. Think of an electrician who's basically carrying this copper wire from where he's standing. And he's going far, and he's going far, and then he's connecting it to where he needs to get to. That goes all the way from where he's come from where he is now to where he's come from. The concept of the tzaddik going over all these olamos, all these worlds in his mind, even though his body is here. His body is here. So because his mind has gone so far, therefore it can reach the point where there can be rachmim to all the worlds in Shefa keeping on coming down to this world. Also, these worlds are called ace, which means a time, which means they're a concept of time. Come upon him. And that's what it means, that Eidosecha, your 1 second. Is this a typo? I don't know. What that he said, this is what the meaning is of the pasuk Eidosecha Ne'emoid. What is it? Heaven and earth are called Eidim. Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Hazinu Shemayim v'Aretz." Moshe Rabbeinu but Rashi b'Hazinu she'im yizku yitnu Eidos shebohem Ayin Sham. So basically, what it was going, if we're being zeicha, then the Shemayim will say, "Oh, you did good." If we're not zeicha, then they'll say the opposite. And not only that, but they're also the ones which are going to exact the price. If we don't. The Shchan Anish. V'zehu Eidosecha. What does it mean Eidosecha? The Shemayim Shanachnu Smeichim Eidosecha. We are happy with Heim Shemayim V'Aretz Shem Ne'monim Ma'od, because they're very faithful. They're precious. Ma'od Litn Schom Aval Ein Simchosenu Ikaris Al Shenoisnem Lonu Smochos Gashmias. Meaning, it's not based on the fact that they give us the Gashmias. It's not when times are good. We're not happy that we are happy that we have what we need to serve Hashem. But our happiness isn't the concept of, we have our gashmis. It is because we know where it comes from. Because only in that state can we have the gashmias. We can only have the gashmias when it's not a danger to us. How's it not a danger to us? When we know the gashmias comes from a higher place, because the point is to reach a higher place. The tzaddik is almost paving the way for us by going up all these worlds, by bringing down the shefa to make it easier for us to reach the same place that he's reached through all his trials and tribulations. What they call the beaten path. Because we know that the higher place that it comes from, and the how that it comes from, and the how that's coming back. What does it mean, leveis chono ava kodesh? That when it comes back to you, lebeis can refer to a person in themselves, not necessarily a house. That means you and all those around you. Where if you're a single person, then you're the beis chol, and if you're married, then it's beis chol bigger, mishpacha is bigger. Now kodesh, that it's beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Because you know where it comes from. V'havin, and understand. It's something to think about. Something very, very deep, very special. And each in our own way. Like you said, there's all mitzvahs that we like, that we enjoy doing. And the other mitzvahs which we find more difficult. But can you imagine how much further we need to travel for the mitzvahs that are more difficult? Can you imagine? They say, for example, that women don't need to do as many mitzvahs as men. Why? Because they're closer to the Shekhinah. Each to their own. But the concept with this is that a person is brought down in this world, whether it is that they are brought in the guf of a woman or in the guf of a man, and whatever that means for the neshama, because the neshama doesn't have any gender. And therefore, like you said, there can be mitzvahs that we're more closer to, because this is what we identify with, and there are mitzvahs that are further away. But in a chanami, that might be our avodah. Or might be our avodah to understand why we feel that it's further away. What am I to say? I'm no Novi, no Chayza, no Rebbe, no anything. I'm just somebody trying to read the words and bring it out. The Schus, the Heiliger Elimelech,
Amen.
and Rav Menachem ben Rimenov, whose Yotzai is today, and wish him a chayil, and continue fighting a good fight in the best way possible. Shbayach, everybody.